Hey everybody, today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to review two animated films this year, both Inside Out and Minions. Let's start with the new Pixar film, Inside Out. Now I am a huge fan of Pixar, and I think all the Pixar movies like the Toy Story trilogy, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, WALL-E, and Up are really good. The only Pixar movie that I don't care too much about is Cars. I never saw Cars 2, and I was not bothered by it. I think what happened is that after Toy Story 3 was a critical and box office success, Pixar has not given us anything amazing recently. Brave was great, but not one of Pixar's best work. Monsters University was awesome, but again, not one of Pixar's best work. So Pixar has finally comes back to make an original animated film called Inside Out. When I saw the trailer of this movie, I became very excited and hopefully should make a comeback for Pixar. So now that I finally saw it, what do I think of it? I think this is a fantastic animated film and a wonderful comeback for Pixar. Now I'm going to tell you why I love this movie with no spoilers. Let's start with the story. The story of this film is about 5 emotions: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, who are all in the head and mind of the girl named Riley. Riley and her parents had a very happy life in Minnesota, but it all changed where Riley and his parents moved to San Francisco. So Riley was prepared to go to her new school, and the emotions inside her head are preparing. However, everything has gone wrong where joy and sadness accidentally left the headquarters, and anger, fear, and disgust are the only ones in the headquarters of Riley's head, and things did not go so well. So joy and sadness must find the way to return to headquarters of Riley's head and must set things right. I think the story of this film is wonderful and very original. Plus there are some funny moments and sad moments in the film. Now let's talk about the animation. The animations in this movie are wonderful. I really like the character design and how the characters move and behave. All the characters in this film are really well animated. The landscape in Riley's head and mind are very creative, and the cities in Minnesota and San Francisco are really well designed. The headquarters in Riley's mind I also think was very creative, especially how 5 emotions controls her mind on how Riley feels. Pixar is really known what they are doing, and they are definitely good at making great animations. Now for the voicing, directing, and music. Let's start with Joy, voiced by Amy Poehler. She did an amazing job voicing that character. Joy is a yellow girl who makes Riley happy and having happy memories. Plus, I think Joy is a lovable and cute character. Sadness, voiced by Phyllis Smith, who was from the TV show The Office, she did a very nice job. Sadness is a blue girl who makes Riley sad and having sad thoughts. I also think Sadness is cute. Anger, voiced by Lucius Black, I think was a very funny character because he was the one who makes Riley angry if there's something that pisses him off. Then there's Fear, voiced by Bill Hader, who was from Tropic Thunder and Men in Black 3. Fear was the one who makes Riley scared of anything that is horrible or creepy. I also think Fear was funny. As for Disgust, voiced by Mindy Kaling, who was from Wreck-It Ralph and also from the TV show The Office. She too was a very funny character who makes Riley feel disgusted by the things she thinks is nasty. Riley's imaginary friend, Bing Bong, voiced by Richard Kind, was decent in my opinion. Now for the human characters. Riley, voiced by Kathleen Diaz. Riley is a girl who lives in Minnesota with her parents and her friends and has a very happy life in there. But when she and her parents moved to San Francisco, she felt like she's an outcast in there. Riley's mom and dad, both voiced by Diane Lane, who has been in movies like The Outsider, Chaplin, The Perfect Storm, Jumper, and Man of Steel, and Kyle MacLachlan, who was from Blue Velvet, the live-action Flintstone movie starring John Goodman, and recently played Calvin in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are very loving and caring parents for their daughter, Riley. Pete Docter, the guy who directed Monsters Inc. and Up, did a wonderful job making this movie. Last but not least, the music composed by Michael Giacchino was very joyful and heartwarming to listen to. Wow! He makes music for 3 good movies this year, like Tomorrowland, Jurassic World, and now this film. Overall, Inside Out is the best animated movie this year. It's the best Pixar movie since Toy Story 3. I felt so happy now that Pixar is back in business making good movies, and I think I should check out The Good Dinosaur coming this November, but I doubt it'll be as good as Inside Out. Also, you should check out Pixar's new animated short called Lava, which is a musical love story about 2 Hawaiian volcanoes. Anyway, if you're a fan of Pixar, I highly recommend you must see it. So I give this movie 4.5 out of 5 nuclear bombs. Now let's talk about Minions. Now I liked the first 2 Despicable Me movies. The first one was great, good story, interesting characters, and a very nice animation. It became a surprise hit at the box office and launched the career of the new animated studio, Illumination Entertainment. Illumination has also continued their success with Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. The second Despicable Me, I like it even more. I really like the change of the character Gru, where he went from being a villain to a loving adopted father. The animation as always are amazing. The villain in this movie was funnier than the villain in the first. When I heard that there's going to be a spin-off prequel of the Minions, I was very excited and curious to see it. I actually finally saw it in 3D and I think it was awesome, and I'm going to tell you why I think this way. The story of this film took place before the events of Despicable Me 1 and 2, and it was about the Minions trying to find a master throughout time and history. But when they found a master, they failed to keep them. So during the 60s, 3 minions, Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, are on a journey to find a master, and later found the villain named Scarlet Overkill. Scarlet Overkill tells Kevin, Stuart, and Bob to steal the Queen's crown in London, but things did not go as planned. Like Puss in Boots, the story was good, but there are some parts in the film that are dumb and unexpected. The animation of this film are just as great as the first 2 Despicable Me. I really love the character designs as well as how they animate the characters on how they act, move, feel, and behave. The designs of the vehicles, the buildings, and the weapons are also well animated. Plus they all remind me of all the old James Bond movies. Now let's get to the cast who voiced those characters. Let's start with all the minions voiced by Pierre Colfin, who also served as a director for this film as he did with the first 2 Despicable Me. All the minions may have different opinions, but they all share the same goal, and they sure love bananas. But I felt Kevin, Stuart, and Bob are the main characters of this film. Now for Scarlet Overkill, voiced by Sandra Bullock, who has been in movies like Demolition Man, Speed, The Prince of Egypt, Miss Congeniality, and Gravity. She was cool as a villain who only cares about ruling the world and steals the Queen's crown, but I prefer Gru because he's a much more interesting character than Scarlet. Scarlet's his husband, Herb Overkill, voiced by Jon Hamm, who was from The Day the Earth Stood Still, the 2008 remake, and The Town, was a very funny character who invents dangerous things. I think the funniest characters in this film are Walter Nelson, voiced by Michael Keaton, and the rest of the Nelson family. I wish I could see more of them because in my opinion, they are the Bonnie and Clyde type of character. Overall, I had a good time watching this film. While it's not as good as Despicable Me 1 and 2, and there are some parts that are just plain silly, it's still a good movie to watch. I am definitely looking forward to see Illumination's new animated films like The Secret Life of Pets and of course Despicable Me 3. If you're a fan of Despicable Me movies, go give it a watch. So which animated movies this year is better? While I think Minions is an awesome movie, I prefer Inside Out because at least that has a better story. So I give Minions 3.5 out of 5 nuclear bombs.